Folks, a very good day to each and every one of you, and welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. We are so privileged. We have so many of you joining us already for Inspirational Sunday, Motivational Sunday. We are so privileged to have each and every one of you. Orin Don, Cook, Pauline Hart, Dean, and Shonda Fredericks, Magdalene Barrow, Anita Atkins, Michaela Andrews, Coates, Orwin, Carlotta Reynolds, wherever you folks are joining us from this Sunday, we're so privileged you're joining us. We have a special guest who's going to be joining us, and I'm going to be talking to another person towards the end of the show. Someone I spoke with early on in the week, and we recorded that bit. We're going to be talking with her too, and we're going to be talking again with a very, very special guest. Guys, lots happening today. Lots happening in China. You all saw Xi Jinping has been given a third term. A lot of folks right here want a third term too. But we're not having it. We're not having it at all. Francia Fraser, good to have you. And Dorrit David. Dorrit, how are you all doing? Happy Sunday, folks. Hope you're getting some me time. Hope you're getting some time for you. Some time for some self-care. We're big on that on the weekends. We work hard all week, and the weekends is for family and some self-care. And we're going to be on with you for about 45 minutes or so, and then we're going to get out of the way so you can go ahead and have a great rest of the weekend. Tomorrow is a holiday. I hope you guys are going to sleep in a little bit late. We missed the cancer awareness walk this morning because we overslept. And so happy to have each and every one of you here. We're going to try to get in some of the Diwali motorcade in Georgetown a little later on in the evening. I'm looking forward to that. And that's some family time. Sukhchan Sudhari, good to have you here. Good to have you, Sukhchan Sudhari. And all the other folks who are joining us, Jacqueline Ford, good to have you. And Francia Fraser, good to have you as well. All the other folks who are joining us, we're so privileged. Share the live, folks. Smash that emoji button. Whether you're joining us on Twitter, you're joining us on YouTube, you're joining us on LinkedIn, you're joining us on Facebook. We are so privileged to have each and every one of you. Share the link, share the like, smash that emoji button, and partner with us as well, folks, so we can keep on doing exactly what we do here. Sukhchan says he's in the British Virgin Islands at the moment. Well, I hope you enjoy that for all of us. Please do enjoy it for all of us. When I was in St. Kitts and Nevis and Antigua quite recently, folks, I enjoyed it for all of us. Antigua and Barbuda, I enjoyed it for all of us, and I hope Sukhchan Sudhari does the same. He says, I'm in the BVI now. I'll try with that. Good to have you, Marlon King, and all you guys who are joining us. Jacqueline Fordyce, good to see you as well. Guys, do us the biggest favor. It's Sunday. Share the live, Eon Winters, and smash that emoji button, folks. We are going to be talking. Give us a second or two, folks, to sort out administrative issue at our end. Give us a second. We'll be right back with you, folks. apologies there again. I want to welcome my guest today, who is one. I hope I'm pronouncing this name correctly. Mahilai McCalmont from the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union, and we're going to be talking about some of the developments that are happening at the credit union currently. You know, there's supposed to be an election tomorrow on for the committee, the management committee of the credit union. There have been some developments there overnight, and we are going to be talking with Ms. McCalmont on that basis. We're going to be talking with Ms. McCalmont on that basis. Ms. McCalmont, a very good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Sherrod. Thank you very much for having me on your show. Good afternoon, viewers. And I wish to enlighten you on the issues relating to the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union and where we are at this point in the credit union and in the process. So that is what my basis will be.
And I am so happy you accepted our invitation on such short notice to do so. For all about 72 hours, the stage has been set to have this election, which was a court order emanating from a court matter that was before the judicial system. That this election must be had to regularize the business of the credit union. I think that election was set for tomorrow afternoon, and things were pretty much heading in a particular direction. We've learned that, you know, one of the things the court said is that a particular organization overseas should have been overlooking this electoral process. You know, if I've missed any of the backstory, you can bring us from there, and let's take it forward and let people know what has been happening.
All right. So let me take you a little back, because I am one of the applicants who took this matter to the court. For the reason being, we would have approached the present committee of management headed by Ms. Van Slytman Corbin. We would have taken a petition to her to say, look, these are the requests of the members. We would want to be heard. We were refused any time to be heard. In fact, we haven't gotten a response from neither the chairman nor the CEO of the organization. We haven't gotten an indication that they would have received that letter, that petition, and is willing to, have us heard at some later date. Now, we found that to be disrespectful because we are the members. We are in control of what happens at a credit union. The reality is we voted these people in. I am one of the persons who voted for that entire slate in 2021. Now, I'm thinking, if I'm one of the persons who supported you, I should be able to hold you accountable when I see things aren't going the way it should. To backtrack now, on the 30th of September, the judge ruled in the applicant's favor, myself, Kit Mars, and Natasha Clements. So some of the things that he would have ruled is that the member's petition must be adhered to, which includes a couple of things. One, that the same process or procedure that was used in 2021 election, that is the AGM, must be used in this election. That includes as well the service provider for both the online and the online voting, as well as now they're having an online meeting. So the same service provider should have been used. I learned through my lawyer that the present committee of management talked to the court. Today it would have been anything around Thursday, I think. Talked to the court to have a variance, which means they want to use a different service provider. Now, in my thoughts, if you are taking to the court to use a different service provider, you would then have to wait for the court to respond to you in order to go ahead and use that different service provider. The court would have responded through, of course, Justice Singh, saying, look, I'm out of the jurisdiction at this point. However, I will hear this matter on the 7th of November. Now, it means that if he's going to hear the matter on the 7th of November, there can be no election until he hears the matter, because you're
Yeah.
asking for something that is not a part of what he would have instructed or his judgment. At this point, we do not have a clear understanding of a lot of things that are happening. We've been asking questions, and of course, we're getting no response. One of the first things that we want to know, is there an official list of electors, or is there a list for us to say these are the valid voters? We don't know what is the number of valid persons who should turn up to vote. That is the first thing. We don't know at this point who is counting the votes, who are the returning officers, or even if it's one returning officer. We need a
Wow.
transparent process. We are not going to
Wow.
sit there to allow people to count our votes, and we don't even know who's counting the votes. Are you allowing scrutineers? Are you allowing people like me to just sit in, or I can assign people to sit in to see that the process was transparent and fair? We still haven't heard any answers on those. So there's a whole lot of things that are just floating in the air, questions that are just floating in the air, and we're not having responses to those.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Quite
it's a,
interesting.
go right ahead. Sorry.
The question is, Miss McCalvin, why do you think that the current management committee has adopted this posture in the face of what the court is saying? Because it boggles the mind. If the court has pushed the matter to the 7th, why would you go ahead? As you who went to the court for a variation, you haven't
That is
gotten that.
that is the
Why would
most
you do
that is the
proceeding?
most that is the most sad thing. You took it to the court. I would have understand if me being the applicant, or any one of the persons who would have been the applicant, took this matter to the court. And you would have said, okay, all right, I don't have to wait to the court because I'm going through with the process. But you took it to the court through your lawyers, and you are now going ahead without waiting on a response. So the question is, who is the service provider you're using? So we learned that they're asking for an ultimate dimensions. We've never heard of this person before. We have done some background
Who are
work.
they asking for?
An ultimate dimension. That
That's
is
the
the
name of the
name of
company. They want to overlook the process.
correct. Correct.
Uh-huh.
We have never heard of Ultimate Dimension. Of course, it's a local Guyanese company. We don't have a problem with who the person is, but give us some background info. What election process have they have done before, so we can at least get a little understanding of where their track records lie. Um, so it's not a personal attack on people, but we're saying we do not know that this person would have done of this magnitude before, because according to information coming out, it's 23,000 people. Now, if we are using Rose IT, the person that we would have asked for originally, because that person was used the last 2021 in the last election, we're asking for that person. The person said they would have done it the last time, so they have an understanding of the process. They have an understanding of whom and what the process entails. They're saying, look, we need a minimum of 3 weeks to get this done. And you are bringing a fly by night kind of person, and the person said we can get this in 1 day. What sort of counting system would we have? What sort of system? Are we sure the system is going to be accurately done? We have no confidence in the system that we are now seeing, because we cannot see the track record of who is now
Wow.
coming to this.
Wow. Ultimate dynamics could easily be friends and family.
Well, we don't want to be assuming here, but we know that there is no proper track record, because we have not been able to find anything on this person. And of course, we've had people looking to ensure that that this person would have had a proper track record, but there is nothing. There is nothing that we can find at this point in time. But this company, this Rose IT that we would have used before, the credit union that is, have a track record of a lot of other credit unions in not only Guyana, but in throughout the Caribbean. And I can brief you quickly on some of the other countries that this Rose IT would have worked for. So it's not about the company just being there, but they're familiar with the process. We trust
Yeah.
them to be
Yeah.
transparent. And in any elections, You and I both know the transparency is key. And if I can't get certain basic information from the persons who are hosting this election, then we should not participate. It's as clear as day. So there is a Trinidad company. There's a Trinidad company that he would have done work for. He would have done work in Trinidad, Port of Spain. There's so many different places that he would have done work before, like I would have said, and there's so many different countries he would have done work before. So it's not a fly by night and we don't hear of the person, but we have a track record and we would have done our work to say, look, this is the company we have in mind, and we would have used this company before because we would have seen them in action. The very company put the present committee of management into that position they are in. So it is not a case to where they have any reason to question the company, unless if they're questioning the company, they were there on the false pretense then.
Ms.
So it
McCalmont,
tells me
one,
that there
yeah,
should be no reason. Go
go
right
right
ahead.
ahead.
So they should have no reason to question the present company. So we are saying if this is before the court, let us wait until the court would have made the decision and then we go towards the polls.
Ms. McCalmont, one would have thought that based on the current posture of the credit union, where you have trust is running at an all-time low, you might want an independent organization, and one perhaps independent of this country, to overlook the process. So at the end of the day, nobody
That's
can
right.
say your uncle, your sister, your cousin, some backroom dealing happened. And as you rightfully said, the current crop of the interim management committee, they were elected to the process by
Correct.
this organization. So you should have little to question.
Correct.
What is your understanding, perhaps, of their own disposition, that the fact the court has said that you should be using a particular company from Trinidad? That cannot be had because of the short notice, perhaps, on the part of these interim members of the board management committee,
Right.
right? That's not being had. They're looking to bring in somebody that wasn't sanctioned by the court. You
Correct.
you have a sense that they got any idea what they're doing in terms of abiding by the court order, that kind of thing. I mean, these folks want to run a whole credit union, a
That is
billion
my
dollar credit union.
that is my greatest fear. You are just at this point they are managing an SGM process, special general meeting process. And if you can't get that right, will you get the credit union right? Will you get managing of the credit union right? So our biggest concern right now is that the SGM was spelled out in the document provided uh, in the petition. So the members petition because the judge made it clear that the agenda should have been published. It's the first thing we saw them going wrong. The agenda was not published. Why are we turning up to this meeting? You're asking us to go to a meeting. Do we know why? There are persons who are not familiar with what is happening with the credit union. Sometimes everywhere I go, somebody asks me what is happening with the credit union. I heard of the credit union, and you have to fill people in on the issues that are happening. My thing is,
Well,
if the judge is
Michaela,
asking,
I am I don't know if you know this. You may not, but I'm a member of the credit union, and I don't know what is happening. Hence, we're having this discussion.
exactly my point exactly. So the thing is, if you are putting out a notice, then we must be able to have an agenda. And the rules says that once a notice is going out, we need to have agenda attached to it. We didn't see that. That's the first breach that they would have done. Secondly, while we have we have not only a location, the second thing we would have asked for is that the SGM is hosted right at the credit union building.
Mhm.
That is right through Hatfield Street, which means they would have had to make provisions for stations to be had in every region. So not only online stations, but in-person stations. So you might have my grandmother who's not familiar with the online process. But look,
Mhm.
I want to go to cast my vote. I don't want to be disenfranchised. So my grandmother can leave her house knowing that right in Region 6, there is a station attached there and that I
Mhm.
can go
Mhm.
cast my vote in person.
Mhm.
So that is not set up as it is today. They
Wow.
have not catered for that. So it means that people like my grandmother, who's not familiar with the process, will have to go to Georgetown. Who's providing that transportation for her? Would she have to
Wow.
go into her pocket? And the thing about it, they are claiming that they care about the members, but you haven't thoroughly thought of all the ways that you will disenfranchise your people. What if you have people in communities that don't have internet, but you haven't thought of a station in the region that they can go vote in person? So when we
Wow.
look at all that is happening, the reality is these people do not care about the law, about the justice system, and what the justice system would have asked for. So they would have flouted those regulations. And the third thing I wish to highlight at this point is the very same thing that we've been talking about, the use of the service provider. We are not going to settle for any fly by night because, like I said to you, I have done research. I've asked people in IT to do their research, and nobody would have been able to come up with an ultimate dimension and on what their track records are. So at this point, we are in limbo, and we're saying to our supporters, do not go out to vote because they cannot be an election when there's so much questions hanging in the air. We're asking who is overlooking the process, who is the returning officer, who's counting my votes, who's ensuring that it is done in a right manner, in a manner that I am comfortable with, and every member of this credit union will not have questions after. We don't know that, but we heard that there are members in the organization, or not
Mhm.
members,
Mhm.
but officers in the organization who are counting this. But we also have officers in the organization who has been campaigning visibly, campaigning with the committee of management. Can we trust the process? So this is where our distrust lies.
Mr. Carmen, I've also been advised that even like the registration process, you might have some challenges there based on the time given for registration and so on, based on the volume of people who are expected to be part of this process legally.
No,
The time seems
that's right.
insufficient.
Because if I can add there too,
Go right ahead.
there is a notice they put out that says registration starts at 7 o'clock. Let's be realistic. Let's be very much realistic. It starts at 7 o'clock, but they would have told their officers to ensure that it closes off at 9 o'clock. We didn't see that notice out there. So if I go after 9, then what? What will happen to me? I needed so it tells us that they are not clear, or it's either that they're clear and they just want to be scampish about it to say, look, we're going to disenfranchise some of these people, because reality is there are some people who's not familiar with the online system, who's not comfortable with the online system, and will opt to come to travel to Georgetown from outlying regions, and we know that's a fact. It
Hmm.
means that
Hmm.
you will not give that person a fair opportunity, because if I'm coming from, let's say, the quarantine, Skeldon, I have to reach to Georgetown by 7 o'clock to register. And then I was told through the grapevine that they're closing it off at 9 o'clock, but they haven't said that to people. So if your plan is to close it off at 9 o'clock, why are we not told of that? Then it means that if I come after 9, will I be disenfranchised? Because
Wow, it's just. Mhm.
you have to be in the location, according to my understanding, at the location and online between 7 to 9 o'clock. If you are logged off at that time, you will not be counted, or if you're not there at the time, you will not be counted. I'm saying whatever you are doing, the public must be clear on that. We have been asking questions on the Facebook page because, of course, that's the only way people are reaching. We're able to reach them. Nobody's answering at their office phones. We're asking questions through so much media, and we're not getting a response. So it means that these people are bent in doing whatever they want to do and don't care about the membership and what the membership has to see on this matter.
This sounds very, very sad and not in keeping with the good governance that I think is required of a credit union and its officers at all. Folks who are joining us across social media, we invite you to share the live stream because we really want as many persons to listen to the discussion, be able to and to be able to be guided by it, and especially those persons who are card-bearing members of the credit union. So, Miss McCalman, so this is a scenario. You have this judgment. The court outlined how you should proceed with this election step by step. The company that should be managing, overlooking the process is not available because of late notice of the current interim committee, interim board.
Right.
They choose another company while at the same time going to the court for a variation of the court's order. The court said, will be available to look at this thing on the 7th. And
Correct.
they're still going ahead
Correct.
as though
But
it's
we don't
business
have time
as
with the
usual.
court. We don't have time with the court, man. We will do what we have to do. It's a disrespect. That's what I'm saying. It's a disrespect not only to members, but the court system. Why are you approaching the court for this thing? It's not as if I, being the applicant, approached the court. You did. So it means that you still have to wait until the court said yes or no.
Yeah,
Or look,
yeah.
let's grant you more time so that the Rose IT is going to be able to get themselves prepared.
And now Rose IT, that nobody knows about, is tasked with supervising this process. But nobody, again,
No,
knows
so
about
let me
who is Rose IT and where they come from.
no. Let me correct you. The Rose IT is the
Sorry.
original
This other company, yeah, Rose IT is a Trinidadian company that is originally supposed to be overlooking the process. Apologies there.
right.
But this new company, this dynamic, ultimate dimensioner,
Ultimate
whatever they
dimension.
call, they are the ones who nobody knows about.
Correct.
My father. What is the position of the Treben team concerning tomorrow afternoon and this meeting that is supposed to be taking place at I think it was set for the Central High School? What is your position on that matter?
So it was set for tomorrow morning from 8 o'clock. The meeting starts. You register at 7 o'clock, based on my understanding. But
Yeah,
our position is very clear. We will not go ahead because the process will definitely be illegal. It is not been heard by the court. It has not been ventilated by the court, and the court made a decision on this matter. So we will not be there in no uncertain term. We're asking our people to ensure that they stay at home until we are told by the court this is the decision going forward. So we again, stay home, relax, enjoy your day. We will also have a press conference later in the day, as well as we will have a conference press briefing where we speak with our members on the way forward. But most importantly, we want you to understand that we are not going out there tomorrow. We are not supporting this because the court is saying they will hear the matter on the 7th. Why are we going ahead? It means that we will not take part in any illegality that is happening
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah. That's quite important. The thing we haven't discussed, and I wish I pull it in now, Ms. McCalman, we have also the Ministry of Labor has a department that overlooks credit unions. Have they said anything publicly about this fresh set of confusion thanks to the incumbent management committee?
So no, they haven't. There is someone that is called a chief cooperative development officer. We have not heard anything from that person who is governing that body. We have not heard anything publicly. We haven't seen anything publicly. So at this point, there is a silence, a dead silence on the issue from coming from them.
Wow, this is quite extraordinary developments. You have a court who has issue instructions. Those instructions cannot be carried out to the letter. The incumbent interim management committee don't seem too bothered about that. They approach the court for variation. That is up for discussion on the 7th of November, but they're going ahead with a very process that they're questioning too. It's quite
Right.
interesting. What are your final thoughts, perhaps, to those credit union members who are listening to us and will come back and listen to us today?
Most importantly, we have got to take back our credit union. This is an organization created by us for us. It is an organization that people are helping people. And if we have a group of 9 persons who determine what we are doing or what we must do, it means that we are not going to settle for that. These 9 group of people are rogue at this point. It means that 2 things. One, they are disrespectful to every member of this credit union, because if we're asking questions, we put you there. It means that we can and should be able to hold you accountable to anything that we want to know. You are accountable to us. So it means that if you are not accountable to us, then we will remove you. And that's how the system works. Secondly, they are
Mm-hmm.
quite
Mm-hmm.
disrespectful to the justice system, because if the justice system says X is happening, then X should happen. There should be no variation in that. So, most importantly, I want us to understand that we have got to take back our credit union, and there should be no compromise where that is concerned. We would have seen
Very well.
progress on the Trevor Ben um, leadership. This is not people
Immense
talking
progress.
progress.
Immense progress.
We saw the progress. It's not people talking progress. It's not people promising you anything. You saw it. I remembered in 2019, around 2018, 2019, when I started seeing all of these things, I became immensely proud of what we were able to achieve as a credit union. At that time, I had no interest in the credit union prior to that, because I'm thinking, okay, you just send your money, you're going to take a loan when you need it. You go through the procedure. But now you have a sense of pride, because it is something that you can own as yours. You walk into the system at that time, you walk into the building, you feel that sense of professionalism, a pride that befalls you. And so I'm saying we have seen it. It's not a case where people are promising us, and we would want to return to that place. We
Yeah.
saw a
Yeah.
structure there that worked for us. We saw
Yeah.
that the structure not only worked for us but worked with us, because you had same day loan approval. By the time I go to Georgetown, I reach in Georgetown, have my loan approved, I reach home, my money's in the bank. Even if you weren't able to go to Georgetown, you had a system where there's a regional rep, apply for your stuff through your regional rep. The person sending your documents, same day your money gets into the bank. Now, I know of people who've been in contact with me saying that they've applied since May for a guarantee loan and have not received it up to now. They have also applied for simple things like character loan, which means you don't need guarantors, money in your account that is being accessed. People are still
Mm-hmm.
waiting on that. Up to
Mm-hmm.
now, people have applied for mortgage and car loans, and they shut it off. They said, "Look, we're no longer doing that." And you know what is most disgusting about that whole process is 2 things. One, they came out publicly to say to us that, oh, it was supposed to be a pilot program. So after that, we shut it off. And now they said, no, it's no longer a pilot program. We're going to restart it in March. So we're asking, which one really is it? Make up your mind and let us know.
Yeah.
These things are not to be
Yeah.
toyed about. These things are not to be played
Yeah.
about. So if you cannot simply manage simple processes, then you
Yeah.
cannot manage the union. Simple as that. You need to be removed.
Well, I hope with the right team, which I personally believe is the Trevor Ben team, the credit union
Right.
continues to move forward because I have been in the credit union a couple of years ago, and I saw the credit union as a dark, dismal, blicky, drab place. And to have walked in there a couple of days ago and to see all the improvements is an immense difference, is an immense difference. And we have to allow progress to continue. We have to allow progress to continue, and I think that we have to come to a point where we decide whether you want your friend and your colleague, manage this thing, or you want people who understand what they're doing. And clearly the Ben
Good
team
point.
understand what they're doing, and we're able to make a lots of strides in a very short time, to the credit of the
That is
team, in
it.
a very
That is
short
very
time.
evident. It was very, very evident.
Right?
Very
Yeah, and you
evident.
know what is strange too? I saw recently the very team who was put in place and was supposed to do a couple of things. They were asking for time recently. I found it very strange, asking for some extra time to do God knows what. You know, they went in there, they got political and got distracted from what they were supposed to be doing. And then I saw them asking for time. They need a little more time to do X, Y, and Z. It's quite strange. And the people who had a very short time did a lot of things that they could stand up on now and say, look what we've done.
Right.
You know, and they're fighting those people. So I really hope for the betterment of all of the members of the credit union. And I know it goes across the spectrum because this is again a public service credit union, and all kinds of people, all kinds of ethnicities are benefit from the credit union, are able to continue to do so in even greater ways, in based on some of the plans that I hear that you guys have for the credit union moving forward. And maybe as we wrap up this aspect of our discussion, you can rehearse a couple of them for us, things that you would have done and things the team plans doing when you guys get back to the helm of the credit union.
Well, we have a couple of things that we plan. One of which we will ensure, first and foremost, we know that guarantor is a headache to have. And let's be realistic, it is a headache to have. So we are saying once you are in good standing with the credit union, you're there 10 years or over, and you're good standing. When we go through your profile, we understand that you pay on a regular day, on a regular basis, and so on. You can have a no guarantor loan. So you can have access to loans and you don't have to get guaranteed. That is one of the first thing I think that we will roll out and ensure it's instrumental. Secondly,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
we are looking to ensure that we recommence our mortgage and vehicular loans. We're ensuring that that is back on stream. Our
Please and
members
thank
can
you.
benefit. Yes, most
Please
importantly,
and
our
thank
members
you.
can benefit. All right. We would like to know that monies are not sitting in banks, but monies are invested so you, the members, can benefit. Another thing that we wish to also bring on stream is the ATM machines. No, I don't have to be in Georgetown to draw
Wow.
up the
Big
thousands of
strides.
dollars. You understand? I can be in my region, man, and
Big
pull out
strides.
my card and push it in the machine. So we would
Yeah.
want to have that sense of pride among our members that they have something to look forward to. After time, we can then switching our monies to the credit union. My salary comes through the credit union. No longer have to go to a bank over time. Once it is
Uh-huh.
properly
Mm-hmm.
managed and it's properly done, and we know under a
Yeah.
Ben team and a Trevor Ben slate, we will ensure that happens. Another thing that we're looking at is to have medical insurance for our people. Too many of our people are going around without medical insurance. Something happens to them
Correct.
and they have nowhere to turn. So we are ensuring that we will be able to adequately provide that for them. Additionally, we are looking at uh, a space of land that was purchased under the Ben administration that was there previously under his leadership. There is a land there, and we're looking to build a multi-complex building where we can offer our people a one-stop shop mentality. You come in, you have everything from pharmacy to grocery to everything that you can possibly have in that one building. And from there, you're able to go home because you were able to do everything that you wish. You have
Yeah. Yeah.
your head office with space and everything. You have your ATM machine with your card. You have
Yeah.
everything your access,
Yeah.
your hand reach. We are able to provide cheaper rates and so on for our people while we're at it. So we have a group of ideas in our head, a list of things in our head, and we have seen ways through consultations how we can make it happen. So this is not about planning only. We have been consulting with accountants, consulting with lawyers, and so on. And we are
Mm-hmm.
saying to them,
Mm-hmm.
these are the plans we have. Tell us how it's possible. And these people are eager, just like us, to ensure that these things are rolled out. So our members
Wow.
are in for the long haul, and we ensure that they are benefiting 101%.
Michael, I think too often people discredit the real value of good leadership. Who lead matters. Who
Correct.
leads matters. It matters. And what you have outlined there is a very, very comprehensive plan, innovative. and visionary.
Correct.
I know on the other side you got some good people, but good people can be misguided. I don't know
Misguided.
what they plan to do. That's one of the challenges I have. I don't know. I hear a lot of venom against Trevor Ben. I hear a lot of venom against Trevor Ben's team when I listen to them, because as a member of the credit union, I have to listen to all sides. But I don't hear a plan. I don't hear what they want to do, how they can make my life better as a member of the credit union, how they can be better stewards of my finances. And even in this electoral process, because of all of the shortcomings and the missteps by the team, I think they've convinced me they are not the people I would like to be stewards of my finance. And I think I say that for lots of other members of the credit
Definitely.
union, that
Definitely. Definitely.
we hope that good sense prevails and that these folks will and truly come out the way so
And
that this
stop.
thing can go
And so
forward
progress can continue.
and progress can continue, as you rightly said. I'm happy to hear you talk about a pharmacy in that multi-purpose building, because when we come out in this process, we can need a pharmacy with some nutrifos and so on we nerves and we blood pressure
Come on
for
now.
to bring it down, to bring it
Definitely.
down. So we're gonna be looking
Yes.
forward to that. What haven't I asked you about that maybe needs to be out there for members of the public?
So, most importantly, when that time is right, we're asking that a Trevor Ben team be voted for.
Yeah,
The slate is out there. Remember the names. Remember the names. Remember the names. Hold us accountable even when we get there. So it's not about us just getting there, but we want you to say to us, look, you said that you're going to be able to do X, hold us accountable. And
yeah,
most importantly, we want you to assess the situation like you would have done, Sharon.
yeah,
Look at what
yeah,
every other team that are putting forward is offering. All you're hearing is everybody bashing at Trevor Ben, but what is your policy? We're not saying Trevor Ben is a peach. We're saying that he's a better leader. Full stop.
hmm,
Full stop.
yeah,
There's no query about that. We've had
yeah,
leaders prior to Trevor Ben, and we would not have seen what they would have done for us. And I have been a
yeah.
member for just about 10 years, and I am the type of
Only
person who
10, only
likes to give
10,
credit. Yes, who
only
likes to
10
give
years.
credit where credit is due. Only 10 years.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm in sympathy with people like my grandmother and so on who've been there longer than that, who have
yeah,
not benefited the way they should have from the credit union. So too many times we have leadership who is failing their people. And we would have
yeah,
seen Ben rescuing the credit union. Like I said, we are not here to sing praises to Trevor Ben, but we must give credit where credit is due. He was the best person who would have taken the credit union out of their misery, so to speak. And now we have a building, we have an organization that we're now proud of. You look from the outside, like somebody once told me, I must share this, that they were passed,
go ahead.
they after the transformation, they passed the building, and they somehow was part of the building there because of course they're going to
They're
buy the
looking.
building after. But they're looking for the old building. Now you see
Yeah,
a
yeah,
fancy
yeah,
glass front and so on. It's only because the person can read, then they realize, wait, is the credit union turn so
yeah,
nice? That is the
yeah.
pride we must have as
And
persons in
Mahela, I dare say, it is not only on the outside, it's not just a facade. It's not
no
only on the
walk in,
outside, the
walk
change
in.
is evident.
Walk in. The sense of pride is there. Walk in. The professional staff is there. We
Yeah,
are going places as a credit union, but we have seen for a short period of time for this year how our progress has been stymied because of selfishness and because of greed.
yeah.
We're saying,
And let me pick you up there. Let me pick you up there. I know you
go right ahead.
only agreed for a couple of minutes, but the conversation has been so sweet thus far.
Yeah, yes.
Um, you're talking about what has happened over a very short time.
Right,
And early on, you talked about holding people accountable.
right.
It is because people have been holding you accountable. They can look back and say, you know what? Look what these guys have done in a few short months. Imagine if we give them some time, what
Correct.
else they can do.
Definitely.
In
Definitely.
contrast, the time the other folks have had there and had at their disposal, I don't know what they've done. And
The
I
chaos
don't know, as I said, what they will do.
The chaos and the confusion is evident. You are going applying for loans and can't get loans. for no, and the thing about it, they're not responding. You calling their office phones, nobody's answering those phones. You
Hmm.
calling even the representatives in the regions, people are not answering. So it's a no answer policy they have at the credit union. Nobody's been able to access unless you walk in. And oftentimes you walk in and you're being molested by maybe a security guard or something of that nature. People are just frustrated at this point. People would have reached out and saying to me, look, we want a Trevor Ben back. We want a Trevor Ben back. Not only because of Trevor Ben as a person, but because of his leadership styles, because we would have seen
Yeah.
the transformation. And we have that pride as a people, what we would want to continue to see.
Well, I'm happy because I'm in sync. I'm in sync with those persons because I believe that we've seen good leadership is not a matter of just the person, but you can't divorce the two. He is his leadership style, right?
Definitely,
And
definitely.
nobody's perfect. No leader is perfect. But
Correct,
I think success is getting more things right than you don't. And we've seen
correct.
team under Trevor Ben get more things right at the credit union
More
than
things
they
right.
have not. And
Definitely,
I think
definitely.
it's you can look at that and say the future of the credit union is going to be in good hands, and they have been good stewards thus far. And mistakes are going to be made along the way, but I think again a good way to look at success is when the mistakes are few and far in between, right?
And the
But the
results
successes
are
are
proven.
more evident. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Go right ahead. Okay, right.
So, in closing, Sherrod, I want us to understand two things for tomorrow. One, we are not going out there. We're not even going to say where we're going to go protest. We are going to go. We don't care about their process. The law will have
Mhm,
its course, and the law will deal with them. There are some
mhm,
people who I am telling you, the court said, the judge said in his ruling when he delivered on September 30th. I was in court being an applicant, so I knew exactly what I heard, and I know exactly what is going to be happening in the future. The
uh-huh.
judge ensure he says that people will be held contempt of court, whether the applicants or the respondents who disregard his ruling. So we see that people will be held contempt of court. So we don't have a problem. We do not have a problem. We are going to stay at home, enjoy our holiday, and we are going to keep our members engaged about the process going forward. But tomorrow, we are not going to be there. We are not
you
going to
know
be there because the process cannot continue if you take the matter to court. You said in no uncertain term, look, we're asking for a variance. But if the judge saying to you, we can't look at it right now, we will look at it on November 7th. Then what do? Don't you wait until that happens? But they have gone ahead, and we will not take part in that illegal process.
very well. One of the things I've heard uh, the other side say, the other team say, is that Trevor Ben is hungry for power. But I see a process where Trevor and you guys could be on the ground tomorrow, making a lot of noise and forcing the issue, but you decided to abide by the law. And the court
Right.
said a certain company and a certain process should be ensuing, and that process isn't ensuing. And you said, we're going to look to see what the court does, and we're going to stay away. But the other folks, they're going full speed ahead in a lot of illegalities.
Sharad,
It's quite
we
sad.
are professional beings and we will always operate in such a way. We're not negayard, we're going to abuse it and cuss out. Let them carry
Mhm.
on. I know of people who are saying that they're being abused out by the chair, they're being abused out by this person. Let them carry on. The membership will have their say, and the truth will always reveal, and the truth will always win. That's my take on this whole matter. The truth will always win.
Michaela McCalmont, I really want to thank you, member of the Ghana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union. I really want to say thanks for spending this time with us. I know Sunday is family time, it's me time, but thanks for taking the time to come and to articulate these issues for clarity to members of the credit union and members of the public alike. It's been refreshing to me as a member of the credit union. I have much more clarity than I had um, before we started this conversation.
So, Shara, thank you very much for having me a part of your program. And I trust that you and your viewers, listeners, have a successful day. And let's rest tomorrow. We will sleep it off tomorrow.
Yeah, and I say to you and the other folks, happy Diwali,
Yes.
and may the light of Diwali drive out the darkness in this interim management committee.
Get them out of the place, man. Get them out of the place. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Laura.
thanks for joining us, Michaela. Folks, there you have it. There you have it. So privileged to have Michaela McCalmont, member of the credit union, join us, and one of the litigants in this matter. So grateful. Folks, lots happening in China, lots happening around the world, lots happening in the Caribbean. I saw a notice. I saw a notice which says that only boy Anil on a panel this afternoon at the University of the West Indies. It's a virtual panel, and it's interesting what the topic of discussion is, because these folks have got no shame. It is quite interesting what the topic of discussion is. I'm going to share this. I'm going to share that with you in just a second. I'm pulling up my notes here. They ain't got no shame at all. They ain't got no shame at all. It's not little shame. They ain't got none. They ain't got none at all. Folks, wherever you're joining us from, I encourage you again to share this live, smash that emoji button, and partner with us so we can continue doing what we do here. We want to continue doing what we do here. And I know that the leader of the opposition was on Nation Watch. I think you can see that on the AFC page. It has concluded, but thanks to social media, you can go back and look at it. I want to commend that for you. The leader of the opposition was on Nation Watch earlier on. I want to commend that broadcast to you on AFC page. It's a long holiday tomorrow. Eke out some time to do so. And again, Anil is on this panel. And it's interesting, as I said, the topic for discussion, because they're going to be discussing on this UWI panel constitutional reform and the republic. The subtitle for the discussion is the judicial selection process in context of the administration of justice and democratic strengthening. Now, when I see that bit, administration of justice, I say, y'all, to myself, I say, y'all really want Anil Nandilal on this issue here? Do we really want Anil on the administration of justice? Because the Caribbean Court of Justice, as you know, has just said, the Caribbean Court of Justice has just said that Anil Nandilal has brought the entire administration of justice of the court into disrepute. So when I see Anil on this panel here, today, it's going to be a virtual panel, and it's going to be on at 4, talking about the administration of justice. It's a little hypocritical for me. It's a little hypocritical for me. You hear? It's a little hypocritical for me. Little hypocritical for me. Because the Caribbean Court of Justice just said he has brought the entire administration of justice of its process into disrepute. So I think I want to hear anybody else. I think I want to hear anybody else than Anil on the administration of justice. And I think I see Maureen Williams asking whose sponsorship. This is, I don't know if we talk about the same issue, but just in case you're asking me about who's sponsoring this discussion, this is UWI. Maybe they didn't listen to the court issue. Maybe they haven't been brought up to speed. This is UWI Cable Campus. That's in Barbados. UWI Cable Campus, University of the West Indies, Barbados campus. They have this panel discussion on constitutional reform and the republic. And the subheader here is the judicial selection process in the context of the administration of justice and the democratic strengthening. Well, of course, them guys just pick who they want, support them. People supportive of them and their causes. They can be the judicial selection process. Right? Friends, family, and favorites. But on the administration of justice, the Caribbean Court says the Attorney General of this country, the installed Attorney General, they have brought the entire administration of justice into disrepute. And I see Our viewer, Guyana, nowadays says we got to keep others as far as possible from anything to do with justice. I agree with you thoroughly. I agree with you thoroughly. We got to keep them as far as possible for anything to do with justice. Now, folks, we've had a very interesting discussion on the credit union, where it is currently, its successes and its challenges. And I really want to encourage you folks that we don't just come and spectate, we come and listen and say we had a good program. Give others the opportunity to do so as well by sharing the stream. Folks, for us, it's not about likes and shares in and of itself, but sharing it helps others. Our passion is to get valid and credible information out there to you, the folks who need it the most. To get valid and credible information to you. That is our passion. That is why we do what we do here, with little reward and little thanks. It is seeing you guys show up for the programs, program after program, that encourage us to be out front, that empowers us to be out front. And so we want to thank you for that. We want to thank you for your love, your generosity, and your support. It means a lot to us. You know, I was in the parking lot of what the mall is on the East Coast here, not Movie Town, the other one, Giftland Mall, and a fairly big Indian woman came up to me, and I was telling my wife afterwards how we sometimes you know you can be a little stereotypical. An elderly Indian woman came up to me, and she says, "I watch you every night. Thanks for what you're doing. Thanks for what you're doing." You see, she came out of her way where I was standing. We couldn't get parking in the parking lot. My wife was driving around in circles. I was waiting for her to come back. And she came up to me. She said, "Thanks for what you do every day." You know, and I know lots of you tell us thanks too. It is so meaningful. That to me is currency. That to me empowers us to go another program. Sometimes we get discouraged too, I can tell you that. Sometimes you don't know what is the impact you're having. Sometimes you don't even know if you want another program. When you see some foolishness some people doing, you don't even know you want another program. But it's when you come and say, "Good job. Thanks." Folks, that's water all the aisle out there. Keep on going. That kind of encouragement is motivation enough for us. Thanks for joining Motivation Sunday today on Below the Belt. And I want to say thanks again to Mahilai McCalmont of the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union for spending that time with us. And thanks to you folks. You could have been a lot of other places today, but you decided to spend this time with us, and we're immensely grateful. Go ahead and have a great rest of the day, folks. It's been a pleasure being here with you. Share the live before you go. Smash that emoji button, folks, and make a decision to partner with us as well so that we can keep on keeping on. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of the day, folks. Peace out.